So let's talk about this, guys, because I know that I'm not the only one that sees this, and this is coming from somebody that's gotten their Mandura vaccine twice and is scheduled to get a third one, basically their booster, this upcoming Monday. And when I see this sudden news coming out that here in California, and probably some other states as well, that an indoor mask mandate for at least a month has been basically put into law, or basically it's been put into existence again, reestablished, if you will. I can understand how some people feel. I can understand it. I mean, even those that are fully vaccinated, who have gotten the booster, or like I said, in the case of myself, is on the verge of doing it, I can understand that frustration of, that it's not fair, it's not right. And I get that. I understand that. And when I see this news being broke, that tomorrow this month-long mandate's going to happen, all I really see, as I said before, it's just the CDC, it's just the state, it's the state health department, it's the media. All that really is them basically, coming up with these decisions, but in reality, what they're saying when they come out and make these announcements is, something like this, and that is, we are hereby reinstituting the indoor mask mandate for about a month, get the vaccine, until, January 15th, get the booster. That's all I'm hearing. They're making the announcements, but in between they're actually saying, get the vaccine, and get the booster. And if that's the case, then that's all they have to say. Just have them come out and say, look, we're considering doing a month-long indoor mandate for everybody, when it comes to putting masks on, only if by a certain date, nobody or a certain percentage of people don't get the vaccine or the booster, or mostly the vaccine. That's all they have to do. All they have to do is just say, hey, you got this as your deadline, and if you don't help us reach a certain number of people being vaccinated, or at least getting one shot of the vaccine, no matter which one it is, or even a booster, then by this date, this deadline, we will reinstitute the mask mandate for a month. That's all this really is. That's all they really have to do. Just say you got to this time frame, get at least one shot of the vaccine, or get the booster, and we won't have to worry about anything. That's it. That's it. And again, like I said, it's not just here in California. I know the same thing is happening in other states across the country. I mean, you take a look at some of the news reports coming out there about athletes suddenly getting COVID cases. And you're thinking, why is there such a rise of COVID cases? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. And in actuality, my opinion is it's not all COVID cases. It could be the flu. It could be they failed a drug test and everything. But the media is making it out to be, basically COVID, so they can essentially scare people, intimidate people, fear people into getting the vaccine and the boosters. That's what it really is. That's what it really comes down to. And the media knows this. The state health officials in every state where similar things are happening, like here in California, know this. The CDC knows this. The media itself knows this. And yet, instead of coming out and telling people, look, none of that's really true. We're just trying to get you guys to get the vaccine and the booster for health reasons and for safety reasons. If they just come out and state, hey, what you're suspecting is kind of true. It's not really, it's not really a big deal and everything, but we just want you guys to get the vaccine, get the booster, so we can get back to normal. And the reason they don't do that is because they know if they come straight out and say it, those that don't believe in the vaccine, those that don't believe in the booster, that feel that basically it's a bunch of hooey, will not listen. So the strategy is to put fear into them and basically scare them and intimidate them into getting it. That's what it is. That's what it is. And like I said, this is coming from somebody that's gotten his two shots back in the spring, back in April and May. Is going to get the booster this Monday. I'm not doing it because I'm intimidated, I'm scared. No, I'm doing it because it's my choice. My mom is doing it because it's her choice to do it on Tuesday. Not only because she works with kids, because of the fact that it's her choosing. It's not because she's afraid. It's not because she's been scared into doing it. It's because, it's her choice. And the fact that she works with kids. That's it. That is it. And I know some other people might say, well, if all they have to do is just tell us to get the vaccine and the booster, then, why don't they do it? Again, like I said, because they know nobody will do it if they just straight out say it. Nobody will. And, I know some other people are thinking, is the media, is the Democrats and all that, are they punishing us? Are they, punishing us for having a certain president in office? Voting for a certain president in office and everything? Is this what this is about? And that's up to debate. That's up to very suspicious debate and opinion. Whether or not this is all about punishing us for, supporting someone like who as president before Biden got in. That's what it is. Or that could be what it is, I should say. That could be what it is. But again, that's a matter of suspicious opinion, if you will, if not opinion in general, as well as suspicious debate or debate in general, as well. The thing is, guys, when you get down to it, I want you to notice something. I want you to notice that basically when this all happens, that over time, even before the time, the deadline, the time length, if you will, the length of time for these things that are happening, I want you to notice that over time they kind of drop off. Like here in California, they're going to say, yeah, tomorrow on the 15th, you got to go a month long with masks, even if you're vaccinated. Over time, that's going to not matter because people are going to go indoors anyway. And there are stores, believe it or not, including the one that, as I mentioned in the previous video, has yet to call me back to get back to work there and only had me on board for like 2 days, and that's it. They basically said, hey, we believe in it being a choice. So there are going to be stores across this state in different counties. They're going to say, look, we understand what the mandate is, but we're not going to enforce it. We're going to leave it up to you. We're going to trust you. That's what it is. That's what they're going to do. Even restaurants and fast food places are going to do that. They're going to say, look, we're going to trust your judgment. We're going to trust what you tell us, and we're going to let you come in without a mask. They will do that, even though the mandate is, even though the mask mandate has been, reinstated for at least 1 month. But again, what it really is just their way of saying, get the vaccine, get the booster. That's what they're doing. All this really is basically here in the state of California is, like I said, all it is them basically saying, for 1 month, you got to wear a mask. Even if you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you got to wear a mask when you're indoors, get the vaccine. And for at least 1 month to keep us all safe, get the booster. That's all they're doing. That's all it really is. And like I said, the reason they don't straight up tell people to do it is because they know people won't. They know people won't. And I'm going to tell you this right now. All right? Going back to the sports and everything, we know there are some men and women, we know there's some athletes, apparently, 37 in the NFL, a few in the NHL, and even the NBA that have tested positive for COVID, even though protocols have been taken, have been taken by the leagues to make sure none of this happens. But again, I think a lot of these COVID cases are not exactly what they seem to be. They're not. And that over time, the truth will come out. The truth will come out. I guarantee you this. Everybody says that the Democrats have a lot to worry about in 2022. And rightfully so. Because if what is projected to be a reality becomes a reality, and the Republicans and all the other parties that don't like what the Democrats are doing and the left wing is doing, take over in both the House and in Congress, then there's no doubt that the media is going to be like, oh, no, we're screwed. What do we do now? Because what will happen is you're going to have a Republicanly controlled Congress and House basically come out and say, look, we understand why you wanted to do this, but we all know the truth. We all know the truth of the fact that we're ahead of some other countries and all that in vaccine shots. But all you're trying to do is intimidate people, and we're not going to allow that anymore. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Maybe not exactly in that manner, but Republicans are going to come out once they take control of the House and the Senate, and they're going to say no more fear-mongering. No more trying to scare people. People have a choice. You let them decide. End of story. And that's it. I guarantee you that's probably something that they're going to address right off the bat. But the point is when you get down to it with this whole, new statewide mandate for indoor public places here in California, it's probably other states as well. They're doing it basically not because of safety reasons, not just the safety reasons, which again, it's a matter of opinion how you look at it. But it's also the way of getting people to get the vaccine and the booster. It's like if we can't, recommend them getting it, say, gently, suggest they do it, or kindly, suggest they do it or recommend they do it. If we have to implement this is to fear them, then we're going to have no choice. And that's what it is. It's like they look at the fact that they've tried everything in the book. They've tried to be kind about it. They've tried to be very proper about it, suggest, recommend. And since nobody's taken it into, consideration, they're like, okay, fine. If we can't do it, the nice way, we're going to have to do it the scary way. And that's what this is about. And again, the same thing with, other states probably going through a similar situation. And the same thing going on with, the NFL and the NHL and all of them, if you will. It's basically, their way of saying, hey, if the people won't, do it on their own, out of recommendation, out of, the concern and safety, health and safety of others, we're going to scare them. We're going to make them, fear what could be by over-exaggerating numbers, by saying this many people contracted it and everything, even if it's not entirely true. And some of those numbers, like in the NFL and all that, are based around, other situations, but they're putting the COVID, the COVID ordeal that we're going through or trying to get out of on top of it. Long story short, folks, is we are just about out of this. I think they know it. We are just about out of it. They know it. But here's the thing. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Here's the thing. Because the United States always looks at themselves, as being the number one country, the best country, the most wealthiest country, the most, step ahead country, if you will. That the one thing that really kind of puts us in a bad light when it comes to other countries is we always try to act like we're better, and we're not. We're not better. But when it comes to wanting to get out of the, COVID situation, that's one way that, completely, or at least at a number, or at least get a number that shows, hey, we're better than everybody else still, and this proves it. And that's a helicopter out there, an Apache one right here. But, by trying to get to a certain number, or even being completely out of it, to prove we're better, then they're going to do whatever it takes. Yeah, that's a helicopter, a low flying one. But like I said, if they feel that, they got to do whatever it takes to make that happen, they're going to make it happen, even if it's not entirely true. even if it's not entirely true about certain things. But what are your thoughts overall? What are your thoughts on, the NFL and NBA and the NHL reporting new cases? Do you think, it's entirely true? Or do you think maybe some of these numbers, like the 37 that came out on Monday for the NFL, that it's less than what it sounds like, and that there are other situations involved, like maybe flu, maybe drug test failures? What are your thoughts? Do you think there's more to that? Or do you think maybe it is all COVID? What are your thoughts? Also, what are your thoughts on states like California going back to month-long mandates, even for the fully vaccinated and the fully, boosted and everything? What are your thoughts on that? Especially when it comes to indoor public areas. Do you think it's the right choice? Or do you think maybe states are doing this to basically fear and scare people that are not vaccinated and not boosted to getting to that state? What are your thoughts? Comment down, let me know. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video. Check me out at my Teespring store. Check me out especially in time for Christmas. You can find something there. Also, check me out at BW Rose's Discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Speaking of my podcast, BW Rose's Discussions, I'm almost close to 300 podcasts. Get ready for that. And if you're listening to the podcast on Anchor, excuse me, on Anchor.fm, if you will, listener support has been activated. So if you want to help support me there, it'll be greatly appreciated. Also, basically, check me out at BW Roses on VENMO for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. Also, check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses to help support me there at the $1 or $3 tier. And check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about all this? And I will talk to y'all later.